For the Unit 4 assessment review, it says use exponent rules to simplify. And then for the front page, this is all multiple choice. So on the test, it's the same way. The front page of the test is multiple choice. So number 1, we need to simplify. So first, I would go ahead and divide that. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then I would subtract. So 3 minus 5 is a negative 2. And then for B, 4 minus 2 is 2. And so I know that I cannot have an answer that has negative exponents. So I can eliminate A and B. And then for C and D, I have to have that negative exponent moved to the bottom of the fraction. So I put this over 1. The 4 has a positive 1 exponent, so it stays. B is positive, it stays. But A does move and become positive. So this has to be letter C. And please mark your answers on the line with capital letters. Alright, for number 2, to simplify, this 4 and the 2, we're going to multiply those together since they're these big numbers. So 4 times 2 is 8. Then for the x's, because we're multiplying the same base, x is the same, we're adding exponents. So 3 and 4 would become 7. Then for the y's, we have a 1 here. Okay, so we have a 1 plus 3 makes 4. And so this means that our solution has to be B. Then in number 3, when you have the same base, like number 1, you subtract exponents. So 9 minus 9 makes 0. So we say y to the 0 equals 1. The entire expression equals 1, which is C. And the last multiple choice question we have is we have this parentheses, which means that we multiply the 5. So 5 times 2 and 5 times negative 3. And in multiplying, we get positive 10 and negative 15. So again, we can't have negative exponents. So even though we've got this answer right here, it has negatives. We can't have that. So we need to move down our negative exponent. So x to the 10th is positive. We keep it. And we move that y to the bottom. And when we do so, we get x to the 10th over y to the 15th, which is D. We should always have positive answers, positive exponents in our answer. Moving on. Number 5 is very similar to what we just did on the front, but there is a multiple choice. So we need to go ahead and fill in the answer. So for number 5, we're going to take 5 times 3 and get 15. Then my x's, 4 and 2, we're going to add 4 and 2. And 4 plus 2 gives me 6. And then for the y's, we have y to the 2nd and y to the 1st. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So since everything there was a positive exponent, we're going to leave it. Okay, in letter B, we have that same base in, but we have to subtract exponents. So we're going to say 4 sevenths minus the negative 3 sevenths. So it is my base. So if I do this, I would end up adding these together. And 4 sevenths plus 3 sevenths is 7 sevenths. Well, 7 sevenths is a 1 if I divide that. So I would accept the answer of n to the first. Or you could just put down n since the 1 is invisible. And then lastly, this was like the very first question we did on the front. We have to simplify. So first, we want to divide. So if I divide that, that's a negative 5. Then for the x's, we take 2 minus 9, and that is negative 7. And then 11 minus 3 is 8. All right, so now we decide what needs to move. So negative 5 has a positive 1 exponent. It stays. X to the negative 7th is negative exponent. We move it. y to the 8th is positive, so it stays. So this right here is the solution I'm looking for.